I don't know how people do this, like, for their entire life. It doesn't make sense. I'm 21 and I feel like I'm falling apart. I like making people excited. So I end up promising so many things and then I inevitably let a lot of people down. I'd have these moments where I feel like I can do fucking everything. I've got all the energy in the world. And then later on, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I can't do any of that. That's too much. I don't even care about all the things that I promised. I just get so addicted to that, like, oh, you're doing such a good job. Thank you. You're such a great person. The more I try to get that kind of response, I kind of flop on my face and then people start calling me lazy, unorganized. People say I don't try hard enough. I used to try real hard because I wasn't really focusing on too many things. I always just had that one thing that I was always doing. I used to make a lot of gaming videos just constantly every single day, just thinking about making the next gaming video. After a while, it wasn't about me anymore. It was just about how other people were responding to it. And then I lost passion. I just fucking hated making gaming videos after that. From that point on, people would ask me like, do you want to make a gaming video together? I'm like, no, I hate that. It makes me depressed. I don't want to exist in a gaming video. I think this habit started from a very young age where I wanted to please people because I didn't feel like anyone understood me, my authentic self. I have this very specific memory of being like, I think 14 years old and I was just feeling so low. Like I just didn't have any energy or anything. I basically, it was just depression. And my idea was, let's make a horror gameplay video. I just need to feel alive. That's what I'm missing. And I would continue this act of being like a famous YouTuber because I would look up to those famous YouTubers and thought, wow, they seem to be having a blast of a time. That's what I need. The same thing happens with music too. Although music, I can actually be a lot more kind of authentic, but I'm still kind of putting on a character that makes me feel better about myself. I'm always trying to mimic something. This problem makes it really difficult to connect with people sometimes because my brain is just so fucking preoccupied by whatever it's trying to do. If there's the slightest chance that I've created any kind of conflict, fucking explosion. I just feel like hiding away from everyone all the time until I feel calm again. Constantly replaying arguments that were happening or these conversations or these misremembered phrases. Anything that I'm uncertain about, I just fill in the gaps with my own insecurities. I'm not really sure what the solution is to this. Every time I think I'm making progress, it only works for like maybe a week at most, if I'm really lucky. And then after that, I just fall back into my old habits. I keep struggling with money too because, you know, someone wants money and I'm just like, oh wow, this is such a perfect opportunity. I happen to have a lot of money saved up. And then I lose all my money to people for that reason. I got into a habit of recording myself like this because I don't know, it just feels like explaining myself over and over again to people is just, I don't know, I don't want to do it. I just feel so misunderstood by like anyone in real time essentially. And also just having an active conversation is difficult enough. I find it really hard to kind of read the room and know when it's appropriate to say certain things. Whatever I'm thinking about, you know, I just kind of say it, you know, without thinking. And it comes off as rude. So I got into this sort of habit of just not saying something, even though I can't stop thinking about it. And now it's making me feel more anxious. A lot of my traits seem pretty autistic and a little bit of ADHD. I used to journal a lot, like maybe 3 or 4 years back. And I kept doing that consistently for about 2 years. And every time I look back at them, I realize my life is like repeating itself just in different ways. I haven't actually changed in terms of what's going on in here. And so now, because I don't have the energy to keep putting up a facade all the time, people think I've changed into like this depressed maniac. Maybe everyone is actually just a fucking mess. And if they see you slip, you know, they're gonna point it out because it's actually a projection of their own problems. That is just so shit. If that's the case, humans are really shitty creatures. When it gets really bad, I experience what I can only describe as a sort of panic attack, but without like the kind of audible breathing. It's just this really extreme dissociation. And rocking back and forth, you know. I've never had like suicidal thoughts, but I do sometimes just kind of want to dematerialize for a bit, you know, just kind of stop existing just for the moment. I've had people wonder how I do so much, but that was back in the past when I was doing a lot of things. I go through so much just conflict and obstacles just to get things done. What people see is the end result, but oh my God, everything is just getting more stressful. I don't know how people do this, like, for their entire life. It doesn't make sense. I'm 21. And I feel like I'm falling apart. I feel like I can't be trusted with any kind of responsibility. I keep trying to take on responsibility and failing miserably. People see that I'm good at things, so they want me to help them with the things I have knowledge of and experience. And so I just lose the passion very quickly. I could do a really good job though, first time, because I'm like just really anticipating that excitement that they're gonna feel once they see the end result. After that, fucking, I've lost it. I don't want to do it anymore. As far as I'm aware, if you are thinking about so many things, like social media has this effect of apathy. You kind of lose your emotional attachment with things just because there's so many things to be emotionally engaged with. So what I'm gathering is that other people's brains seem to have a kind of filter, whereas my brain just kind of sees everything, and I'm just like, oh my fucking God, there are too many things to pay attention to, and I just want to hide in my own cave. I've literally started wearing fucking ear defenders every time I go out in public. Not sponsored, by the way. I look like I'm going out to war. No, people just assume these are regular headphones that you listen to music with. But they're not. The music would make me even more overwhelmed. I keep working these repetitive jobs that I really don't care about, and I mean, sure, it's easy money, but easy isn't really what I'm looking for. I like doing challenging things, but I keep doing too many challenging things and then I end up not doing any of it. Does that even make sense? But it's just these in the moment decisions. It feels good, you know? But then you don't realize just how much you've kind of set yourself up for. There's too much disappointment potential, you know, there's too much expectation from various sources. It's a lot easier to avoid all of it. And it's not like nobody understands me at all. It's just they don't understand the full extent of what I'm experiencing on a day-to-day basis. I'll like vent on social media from time to time. And then people will reach out and say like, oh, you can talk to me anytime, you know? And then like when I reach out to other people, it's like, they'll give me advice that's like really obvious, you know, things that I already know. But like, if only they understood like the full complications of everything that's going on inside my brain. Oh my God. It's like that Netflix series called Russian Doll, if you've ever seen it. It's kind of the same moment replaying over and over again, and they just have different ways of sort of dying. They keep failing and then having to replay a certain point in their life. It really resonates with me because that's exactly what my life feels like. I think just being aware of the fact that time is ticking constantly, it doesn't help. The fact that all of the things that I said that I was going to do, you know, eventually I've got to actually finish every single one of those things. And I keep just kind of avoiding it. As soon as I'm focused on one thing, there's another thing that I'm not doing and another thing that I'm not doing. There'll be times I can kind of hyper focus, but that's kind of me procrastinating productively. I tend to make a lot of progress with one particular thing if I'm avoiding everything else. But it's really hard to get myself into that headspace, but I have noticed myself doing that. Even what I'm making right now, it's kind of productive procrastination. There isn't really an ultimate goal I'm looking for here, but it's just a way to kind of express my feelings and feel productive at least. And once I've got this edited down, I'm probably going to watch this like a bajillion times before uploading it. All of my thoughts are very obsessive, and then once I've got my thoughts out into some kind of creative form, I will keep obsessing over it. I guess I'm the only one that will really understand me, and maybe that makes me kind of alone, but maybe that's okay. Maybe I'll look back on this and I'll feel like I've made some progress, you know, maybe like a year's time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not seeing the progress I've already made, or maybe what I used to think was progress just kind of seems meaningless now. I guess I have a slightly bigger fan base musically, but the process of making a song is starting to feel very like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. Have I ever told you the definition of insanity?